Welcome back to Stop the Rust, and this is part 2 of my door frame repair patch. Hopefully the second and last video, and I'm going to finish the door today. The door repair patch is sealed up with weld, 99%, bar a couple of places where there was probably some air pockets in my welding. I probably would have avoided this if I was using a gas bottle, but I'm on resin core wire in a gasless MIG. I have a couple of problems to address. The shape is overall pretty good. I haven't welded it right here because it seems to have puckered out just a little. I believe it's standing a little bit proud of the inner frame that supports the door hinges. I'm talking about this gap in here, which is, it's not too big, but it will interfere with the way the door hinge sits on here. Had some problems here. My patch probably should have been bigger. The metal was quite thin and I was blowing through in a few places. I'm going to put some more weld on that. Now there's a technique called quenching which might work very well here, except that I'm quite sure I would never get enough heat into it. However, I do have a gas soldering torch that will actually, it'll heat the skin more than the frame under it, so the skin is going to expand, so it's actually going to exaggerate this gap. Now if I just let it cool down naturally, it would probably return to exactly where it was. But while the gap is exaggerated, I can far more effectively compress that steel, and then when it cools down, it's still going to shrink and it's going to pull in and it's going to pull tight over that frame. Another problem I have is this hole. It's intended to take this clip which holds the door trim. Now the reason why this is a problem, because you can see over here, it's an indentation of probably like 2 to 3 mil. And the reason why I didn't do that before I put the patch onto the door was because beating in there would probably pull the length in and interfere with my fit around the edge. So now that it's welded in and it should be fairly rigid and strong, I'm going to try and isolate the heat exactly where I want to place this indentation and just bump it in with a hammer. Once I close this gap up in here, I'm going to weld it on a very high heat because it's meant to have a spot weld right here. So I'm going to join the skins to the door hinge frame. Now this bolt is going to prevent me from setting the door on fire. It's going to reduce the amount of heat going in through the hole. Here's my gas torch again. Now leather gloves so I can remove the bolt when it's time to hammer. So we've come from this to this. Now if I were to do this repair again to the other side, something I'd do different is this top flat piece, the one closest to the interior, I would probably weld that in first. You could clamp that to something very flat across here while doing it. This piece here would be next. And this piece and this piece I would probably trial fit it, weld it, bump it off the door, trial fit it, then slowly spot it in and build up my weld till it seals.